Alright guys, it is April Fool's Day, and not just any April Fool's Day, but an April Fool's Day that coincides with FI Fridays episode 3. Now, when my siblings and I were trying to decide what I should do for April Fool's Day on my channel, we came across this old video from 10 years ago of 19-year-old Kristen back when she was trying to be a YouTuber called 10 Classic Signs That You Are Not Over Your Ex. Now, given that this April Fool's Day is also a Fi Day, my brother was like, you absolutely have to post that video as a joke on April Fool's Day. And I was just like, there's just no way. It's just not happening. But I gave some more thought to it and I was like, you know what? You only live once. This is funny, and I feel like it's been 10 years, which is long enough for me to look back and just kind of laugh at the whole thing. Also, why should I make a fool of you on April Fool's Day when there's a perfectly good opportunity to make fun of me? And let's see if there is actually some good advice to take away from this video. Maybe 19-year-old Kristen was onto something. I'm excited to find out with you guys here before me today. And if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be putting this online for potentially thousands of people to watch, I would have said no. So today we're doing a commentary video. We're going to watch this together and you're going to see my genuine reactions because I haven't watched this for a couple of months. And when I did watch this with my siblings, I definitely turned away multiple times. But I wish for nothing if not to be humbled, so let's give it a go.
Viewers, it's been too long now that I've seen you wallow in self-pity after a breakup.
Already so many things. The editing, the filter, my glasses for my -11 prescription eyes at the time. Well, still actually. The portrait? Why portrait, Kristen? Come on.
So these are 10 classic signs that
you can't even see all the fingers. Why? Because you chose to do it in portrait, Kristen.
you are not over your ex.
I.e. the content that everyone is looking for on the internet. Wrong niche, Kristen. Try MBTI.
Number 1. You continue to Facebook stalk them. Everybody knows that after you log online to check your notifications, you have a handful of people you like to check up on. If your ex...
I'm really just showing my cards there. I'm like, after you log in on Facebook, we all know that you have a handful of people you like to check up on, okay? Radio silence from audience. Kristen, is this thing on? I know you do it. The INFJs emerge. Yep, I do it. Oh, you do it? Yep. What are you, INFJ? Oh my gosh, me too.
Ex is on this list. In what universe is this an indication that you are over them? Nope.
Come on, guys. Lucky you have me to tell you that that's a sign that you're not over your ex. Gosh, you certainly couldn't have worked that out for yourself. No, not a chance. By the way, I also want to say, just in case any of you are going to go and try and find this video, it is on private because I'm not an idiot. Well, I mean, I clearly posted it in the first place.
Knowing you probably also start thinking, why is there a photo of him having fun? He shouldn't be having fun. Why did he post that status?
Oh, that transition.
He knows I hate it when he spells that word wrong. He's trying to piss me off. Who is that girl posting on his wall? Does the date of her post coincide with the photo in which he's having fun? Did they go out together? She left an X at the end of the post. Of course they went out together.
That theatrical energy coming through. Oh, I was really selling that, wasn't I? You know what's depressing? We have all been there. I feel like I can say we've all been there at a point where you're like analyzing someone's activity on Facebook. There was a feed on Instagram once where you could like check which of your friends was liking which post. If there was someone you were trying to keep tabs on, they made it really easy for you to do so. Because it was like, oh, this person liked this person's photo. It was the worst for an insecure teenager. I mean, not that these days is much better, but you would like overanalyze what, you know, people were liking on that feed. And wow, I'm showing my hand now.
As long as you continue to have these thoughts, stalk their Facebook and stare longingly at their profile picture, newsflash, you are not over them.
Does anyone else feel like there's a lot of angst within 19-year-old Kristen? Are you okay? I feel like she's not okay. There's just a lot of anger. There's just a lot of suppressed feeling. And I feel like there's something that pushed her to make this video. I don't remember what I was feeling at the time, but you know, if we may, let's continue to psychoanalyze her.
Number 2, you start to look for any excuse to text them. Since when are the following necessary text messages to send to your ex? Just ran into your mum. Hey, what was the name of that?
Who would send that? I feel like if you're running into an ex's mum, you'd just say hello and hide. If not, no? I suppose if you're younger and you don't know any better, you might send that text. I don't know, I feel like I'm really detached from this kind of world right now. Did I send texts like that back in the day? No, come on. I like to think I was better than that. Though I have uploaded this video called 10 Classic Signs That You're Not Over Your Ex with a really bad filter in portrait mode, so go figure.
That restaurant that we went to that one time that's right across my street. By the way, I just want you to know that you broke my heart, and for that I can never forgive. Send this.
I'm not gonna lie, I remember sending a text like that when I was younger. As if that kind of text is going to change the person's mind at all. Let's tap into the Friday's content for a second. If someone has chosen to leave you, or has decided to not spend time with you, has decided that you are not the kind of person that they want to be with or around, you deserve better than to ask that person to change their mind. How often is it that people change their mind anyway when they've made a decision like that? Just my 2 cents.
This message to 10 contacts within the next minute, and you'll receive good luck for the rest of the week.
Imagine if you sent that message to your ex and they've like clearly still got your number. I'm hoping I was just trying to be funny there and that I didn't send texts like that.
I'm functioning fine without you. And the worst one. Hey, what's up? XX.
The XX. An applause for the XX between exes. Just brilliant. I know I'm making a lot of fun of this video, but I'm actually really proud of myself for how far I've come, and proud of even this version of myself for how strong I was at that time, given some of the stuff I knew I had already been through at that stage. So, I mean, but you can clearly see that there's a little bit of stuff I'm not dealing with, and I can testify to that because this is me. Actual footage of me pre-healing.
These messages are A, desperate, B, not indicative in the slightest that you are over them, and C, a dead end. Nothing good can come of them. Number 3.
True that. I'm still sensing a lot of anger from me. I just want to kind of go and like sit with her and be like, hey, things be tough right now, but you're going to be fine and you're going to be strong. You can break into that YouTuber world if you just change niches, because people aren't clicking on this kind of video. Oh, God bless me.
Your interests start to mysteriously change.
Ah,
Your
yes,
ex
a
was
classic
massive
insecurity.
fan of the Killers. Suddenly posting links and videos of the Killers is not going to win them back. Your ex knows that you hated the Killers. They liked you for you, and so will the next person who comes along. Don't sit there waiting for a like from your ex on Facebook. It's not coming. Number 4.
I stand that advice. That is good advice. Be yourself. Don't pretend to like the Killers, guys, although they are a great band, so please do like them.
4. When you go out, you start to dress for them.
What? Oh, I'm sure I'm gonna go into like wearing makeup or something like that.
I don't care what your conscience tells you, your ex is not going to be at the supermarket. There's no need to lather yourself in makeup and their favourite
Do I know myself or do I know myself?
Hoping that they'll be there.
And their favourite cologne. Surely if you're spraying your ex's favourite cologne on yourself when you're going to the supermarket, they're gonna be like, did you buy my favourite cologne and spray it on yourself? That's weird.
Because you're just setting yourself up to be let down.
So glad I did those gestures. Really brought home the meaning there. Isn't it so interesting, just like in hindsight, knowing that I'm an ESFP and seeing the way in which I'm giving this advice? It's so FI and presented in such a TE way. Like, this is how things are, this is how things work. But all of my examples are very like tangible SE examples. I wonder what this kind of video would look like if I had been an ENFP or an INTP. Wouldn't have made the video if I were an INTP, almost guaranteed.
And you're not giving yourself a chance to move on. Just for you. If you have to alter your appearance for a guy, warning bells should be going off in your head.
Why are you so mad? Why are you so angry? Are you hurt? Just want to give her a hug.
Number 5. You continuously hope their name will be dropped in conversation.
Those transitions. I'm sorry, did my friends know that they were around an editing genius?
6. You continuously drop their name in conversation. If you want to hear, see, or speak about one single person for an extended period of time, chances are that no one else does. Number 7.
I feel like that's a pretty obvious one. If you're bringing up a person's name continuously in conversation, surely you would know that you are not over them, or that they are still on your mind quite a bit, or that you still do your life in relation to them and your time together and how you think and how they think and your memories and whatever it is. Lots of food for thought here. I'm actually curious. I feel like as a 29-year-old woman, although I could say this for, me when I was in my early 20s, I had a pretty good understanding and idea when I wasn't over someone, or when someone was still, plaguing my mind, or someone was still getting to me or something. Let me know in the comments, do you guys think this is an F thing? Because I must say, like, where I am now, I'm usually pretty aware of my feelings, and if there's something off about my feelings, or if I'm thinking a little bit too much about something or someone, I'm usually quite aware. I'm able to like catch myself in that moment and take it to a journaling session or something. But is this the kind of content that you guys would not this specifically, but is this the kind of content that you could find valuable in some situation, in terms of like you genuinely don't know when you are or aren't over someone because you maybe aren't aware of or vigilant enough to those cues that tell you you are still into someone or in love with someone, or they still play a role in your life? Let me know in the comments.
You keep looking back on old photos and text messages.
Oh, this is a classic
one. Does this make you feel good or something? Because it might at first, when you're all like, yeah, that memory was great. I felt so special. He kept complimenting me, and that was the time that we went for that walk.
Aww, I feel sad for past me. I feel like she's speaking from experience here. Sad. I feel like she's hurt.
And I knew that I loved him. Until you realise your use of past tense and remember that 3 days later he broke up with you and took it all back.
Showing my hand there? This is such a weird experience. Anyway, wow. I keep pausing. We're not even halfway through the video.
If you're looking at these things with a sense of nostalgia or sadness, wishing that things were the way they used to be, I would have to slap you if you thought you were over your ex.
Whoa. Whoa, bit hostile, no? I just want to say it's completely normal to do this kind of thing. Like look back on past memories, think of past memories. It's almost kind of healthy in a way to process them properly as opposed to deleting those things before you're ready. I think there's a value to sit with them because there's an importance to realizing that there were the good times, but then there were also the bad times and the breakup or whatever it is. And those things can simultaneously exist. And I find that just thinking of the bad times can really not help you to process that this was at one point a healthy relationship or a good relationship, and sometimes things just don't work out. People, value different things, whatever it is. If you're processing both of them and acknowledging that they can simultaneously coexist, then that can really help you to steer towards forgiveness, not just of the person, because you're acknowledging that there were the good times, they did have good intentions for most of it, but then, also forgiving yourself, because if you're focusing just on the bad times, you can really dwell in those thoughts of like, I was such a fool for staying with him for so long. I was such a fool for ignoring the red flags. I was such a fool for not seeing earlier. Or like, was it all fake? Was it all a lie? Those are the thoughts that can happen when you dwell too much on the bad. But it's really healthy to acknowledge the good that happened as well, so that you can be real with yourself and be like, no, it was still real. It can all have been real and just run its course. Not every single couple is meant to spend the rest of their lives together. So you can still be good people with good intentions and it just not work out. And if you need to not delete these things to sort of process those things and then delete them when you're ready, that's completely fine. Okay, FI moment over.
What you're aiming for is to be able to look at that stuff, maybe spare a moment for a smile, but then move on with your life. Number 8.
The transitions, it's like I'm like cutting myself off. Oh, I'm so harsh. I'm speaking in such like a TE way. There's like no level of sensitivity or empathy here. I hadn't learned the FAQs yet.
You suspiciously start to become best friends with their friends and siblings.
Okay, who does
this? For one of the following reasons. A, to get close to them again, or B, to make them jealous. If you took a moment to genuinely think about it, you'd realize how sad it is that you're trying to hopelessly cling to whatever is remained of your ex through his or her family.
Oh my gosh, I'm being so harsh. Like I'm using such high modality. Like, it is sad that you are doing this. No pass, Kristen. There's nuance to everything. I clearly had not integrated my FI into my SE yet, but it's okay. She was 19. We learn, we grow, we move on.
And friends in their life. Your ex's brother or sister is not your ex. And their best friend
Huge revelation there.
has probably been brainwashed to hate you, so don't even open that gate.
What? That's not healthy. I don't think that's true at all. In fact, my experience has told me the opposite. If people are brainwashing their siblings to hate you, yeah, I'm glad that relationship didn't work out.
Not to mention that those people are probably people as well. And
Probably? Interesting choice of words.
most likely do have feelings. When you
Oh, I'm
start
being
to mess with
sarcastic.
other people's feelings, you're no better than the person you supposedly
Sorry, just paused to have a thought there.
hate. Losing sight of yourself is a sure sign that you are blinded by emotions. Number 9. You
The
start to
transitions
relate
kill
every
me.
song you hear or movie you watch to your relationship with them. Despite what your girlfriends may tell you, they do not want to sit there listening to your whinging and side commentary while watching The Notebook.
Whoa, okay. As a girlfriend myself, I love when my girlfriends feel like they can come forward to me and talk to me about these kinds of things. So, if we're watching The Notebook and one of my friends needs to talk about her breakup, best believe I'm going to pause The Notebook and be like, let's talk. You clearly need to talk. Let me be there for you. I'm not going to be like, well, sorry, sweetie, notebook time. Put the feels away. And I'm just going to force you to watch one of the most heartbreaking and romantic movies in the history of time, okay? Thanks.
If you care about your friends at all, you don't want to put them through this pain.
No. We don't love past Kristen gaslighting her audience. You know what's funny? This video actually has 496 views. Do you know what that means? It means that when I created it, I published it somewhere. When I created it, I was like, yeah, this is a good video. I'll publish it. Probably on my Facebook or something. I was 19. I was out of high school at that point. I should have known better. This is the kind of video where you're like, you know, you're seeing in hindsight what you would like at that point, and you kind of just want to like go back and message all the people in your life at that point who you sort of lost comms with and be like, hey, just letting you know, like, I'm not that person anymore. I've changed. I mean, I am still this person and I love her and she's part of me, but I've grown, I've matured. I now run a different YouTube channel where I still post videos every month stating my opinions about things. So
Oh my gosh, I haven't changed.
Speaking of which, if your heart is broken, why are you even watching a sappy chick flick?
fair, but less judgment, Kristen, thanks.
You're essentially asking your friends to stop inviting you over. If
Rude! No.
This is the part of the video with which I think I've disagreed the most. You should totally feel free to go to your safe space of women or men, if you are a man, or whatever, you know, your nearest and dearest, and talk about your feelings or a hard breakup you've gone through. It is so important to process, so important to properly process so that you can move on with your life and so that you can reach a point of forgiveness of the person. Again, not just for them, but for yourself, so that you can move on with love in your heart and your heart having increased in size rather than getting bitter and jaded, and being resilient rather than cynical about the world. So it's in the best interest that you know, forgive the person or work towards some kind of, at the very least, indifference towards the person. This is just my opinion. I know it's not easy. I really know it's not easy to reach that point. But if you do dwell on the feelings of hatred and resentment when, like, to be honest, the person, if they left you, have probably moved on with their life and probably aren't thinking of you or sparing as many thoughts for you, how is that good for you long term, and how is that fair on yourself? You deserve the best chances possible to move on and to love the next person who's going to come along and appreciate you for who you really are. So talk things out with your friends, and even if you are in the middle of a notebook, whether it's journaling in an actual notebook or watching The Notebook, the film, feel free to be real and just say, hey guys, I'm actually not feeling this, can we chat? I am so pro disrupting things sometimes to have a real chat with people, because your feelings are important and your emotional and mental health is a huge factor in you living a good, fulfilled, happy life. Back to the video.
If you find yourself going through any emotional pain while watching this kind of stuff, or find that you strangely relate more to the characters than usual, it's time to bust out the heavy violence movies.
Whoa!
No!
Okay, I hope I was joking. I think I was joking there. Wow. Okay, I guess that, I mean, look, have I sent text messages out to friends when I felt angry at people saying, hey, let's go to a shooting range. Hey, let's go smash some plates? Potentially, yes. I will neither confirm nor deny. So there are healthy ways to express your anger. At the same time, I don't think if you're feeling feelings whilst watching The Notebook or relating to the characters more, it means that you have unresolved feelings or need to bust out the violence films and entertain those violent impulses within you. I mean, whatever works. Look, I know it's all nuanced, etc. But I really want to make it clear that it is completely normal for one to relate more to characters in romance novels, films, or songs when one has gone through heartbreak or heartache or pain or a breakup. And if you have gone through that at some point in your life, you are for the rest of your life going to be able to relate more to characters like that in literature and songs. There's this song called You're No One Till Someone Lets You Down by John Mayer. It's basically about what changes after you've been heartbroken and how you see life through a new lens after heartbreak. One of my favorite lyrics is, there's a light in your eyes that is pure, that you won't give away anymore. We'll just think of the things we can talk about now. You're no one till someone lets you down. I love that because it hits on the whole, like, that tragic loss of innocence that means, you know, next time someone comes around and wants to love you, you're going to be naturally more reserved with walls up before you give your heart away. But then it also touches on the nuance of all the different things you can talk about now with your friends. Now that you've been heartbroken, you can talk about pain and suffering in a new way. You can talk about love in a new way. You know, it's like that saying, better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. Certainly heartbreak is like a hugely wonderful thing for being able to lean on your friends, and we as relational beings grow in love when we can lean on our friends and have our friends lean on us too. I mean, the song is a little bit hyperbolic in the sense that it says you're no one till someone lets you down. Not true, but it's a lyric, so we'll allow it. It's John Mayer. He's an ENFP. I just love how it hits on the whole change that you go through when you've been through pain. So, back to what 19-year-old Kristen said, just because you're relating to characters in movies more doesn't mean you need to bust out the heavy violence, or that you are like not over your ex or something, or that you have any ruminating anger still. It's going to change the way that you see the rest of your life. Inevitably, it's going to change the way you relate to people. It's going to probably up your empathy, your compassion once you've been through true suffering like that. There are other things that do that. I'm not saying that that's the only way to grow in those virtues, but yeah, it naturally takes a toll, which is really bad at first, of course, but can turn into something really quite beautiful. So,
And if you find yourself relating to those characters, then you have bigger problems than just heartbreak. And the final and most obvious sign, number 10. You can't stop thinking about them.
Fancy that. If you can't stop thinking about someone, it means that you might not be over them. Who knew? I certainly didn't know. I did. I made this video. I'm the one. That's me. There on the screen. Yep. Oh my gosh, this is fun. I literally still have these glasses, guys. Can we just? 10 years on, these are still the glasses I wear every single night to go to sleep. Okay, whoa, I cannot see anything, but this is the glasses, and I love doing this. Hello.
If this person is constantly on your mind, then just open your eyes and acknowledge the fact that you're still attached. No one else can do it for you.
I feel like the FEs in the audience are like cringing at how harsh my tone is.
You need to just admit it to yourself. Stop worrying about what other people think of you or how sad you look that you're still into your ex. Staying attached is normal. Everyone's been through it, and if they haven't, they will at some stage in their life. Plus, how often does the line, "I'm over him, I swear," work on your close friends anyway? You're better off saving your breath for the next lie you're going to tell.
If anyone takes that as me condoning lying, let me set the record clear right here and say that I do not, nor does this channel, condone lying. It's so interesting, this notion of like your friends can tell when you're not over someone. I think that's true, and it assumes that the person is denying it to themselves that they're over their ex. But I feel like, certainly in the last few years with myself and others, it's obvious and like well understood if people are still struggling with breakups, because I'm really glad to say that I've deliberately made sure to nurture and grow friend groups and keep people around me who are honest with their feelings like that. So yeah, if someone's still struggling with a breakup, it's like quite common knowledge. Me and my close girlfriends, we work together to help each other get through breakups and get through hard times and suffering. So I want to encourage, if you are at a point where you are struggling with your ex or whatever it is, feelings towards someone, try to be open about it. Just try talking to someone about it and be real, because again, we are relational beings. We crave companionship, we crave love, and you might find that the love you get from those friends who have been around you for 20 plus years is far better and more authentic to its core than maybe what you're missing from your ex anyway. I know what I just said is easier said than done. I know that there are some people out there who don't feel like they have people to talk to, and that's fair and that's normal. By the way, if you feel like you want to share a story about your healing from your ex, or how you might still be going through some pain over that kind of stuff, feel free to jump down and leave that in the comments. I love when I do the 5 days videos and you guys comment your experience or your thoughts. I feel like it's a really good community on this channel. You know, maybe if you don't have someone to talk to, maybe this is an opportunity to find some solidarity in the comments of this video. Feel free to get an anonymous username if you'd like.
I'm joking. Don't tell lies. So,
Oh,
in conclusion,
I love how I gave this whole spiel based on that, and like, had I just waited 2 seconds, I was going to take back the lie thing.
I'm gonna tell. I'm joking. Don't tell lies. So, in conclusion, if you're Facebook stalking them, reliving moments with them, trying to please them, texting them, thinking about them, or talking about them, you're about as over them as you were when you started going out with them. And there's no shame in that. Now either forget about this video if it doesn't apply to you, or be proactive and turn your life around by getting rid of the one thing that's been causing you this misery and wasting your time. Wake up. You're a normal human being, and that's okay.
We love that message, and we love the FI that is so clearly coming through. Also, we love 19-year-old Kristen, and we hope that she's okay. Well, we know that she's okay. I am her. Well, I'm 29-year-old Kristen, but
Don't forget to subscribe.
oh my goodness. Sorry. Windows Movie Maker, come on down. Check the rainbow filter.
You're a normal
Do you guys
human
remember
being,
this rainbow
and that's
filter?
okay. Don't forget to subscribe.
That was so novel. I can guarantee I was like,
I'm gonna add this filter for the whole video, and then at the end I'll do the rainbow filter. I'll save the best till last.
well, guys, there we have it. That was a journey. That was a bigger journey than I expected. It was really interesting to look back on past Kristen and kind of see what I was like at the time. It's very interesting that I wanted to still be a YouTuber at that time. Of course, I knew that, but I'd kind of forgotten that I'd like done this kind of content to like actually make it. I was obviously trying to relate to people, but I think I was speaking from a lot of hurt in this video. If this video can be good for anything, I really want to drive home the point that it's okay if in the past you did weird or cringy things, or you made mistakes, or whatever it is, or you uploaded your own videos that you might look back on and cringe. Your past self is your past self. What matters is who you are today and the steps you're taking to be a good person and to love the people around you. I think it's good to, you know, if you're struggling to look at your past self, to work on forgiving yourself. You only did the best that you could with the tools and the guides that you had at the time. I clearly had not discovered MBTI at that point. Maybe if I had, this video would have looked very different and the MBTI YouTube trajectory would have started much earlier for me. I'm very glad I discovered MBTI. I think if I had at this point, I would have used slightly different language that would have been a bit more universal for people to understand. You know, it's kind of cool. I look back at this video and I'm just like, she was beautiful. She is beautiful still. And she was gonna go through 10 years of just so much joy, that pain. She was going to go through the ringer, but the growth was going to be astronomical. And so to look back at myself now, it seems to me that this was the first time that I was really bitter and jaded towards someone, and probably just after my innocence and faith in the world had like kind of just been shattered. And so it's hard to watch in the sense that she still had to go through so much, and she was clearly craving attention in ways that weren't necessarily going to be the best ways for her. I really wish that I really wish that I at this time had sat down and spent more time with myself and worked out who I was, because it was going to be years before I worked out who I was. But you know, it's nice to look back and be like, yep, she did the best with what she could. She had good intentions. She was trying to do her best, and she was no less beautiful for it. So I love you, past Kristen, and I hope that you guys are going to be able to look at yourselves in the past and say the same to yourself from 10 years ago. And I hope that we always will be able to look back at our past selves and love our past selves. I've been on a huge journey of coming to love my past self, but the person I am today, I'm really proud of. And I had to go through the ringer, but I'm really proud of how strong I've become because of it all. And I can't do anything but love all of these different versions of myself that existed before now. Even if it is cringe that I like to watch this stuff back sometimes. But yeah, I hope that you got something out of this video. It was certainly fun. I went from like mocking this video a lot in the beginning of this video. You could see probably there was like a bit of uneasiness or anticipation behind me at the beginning of this video, because I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to be in this video? How are people going to respond? But now that I'm at the end of it and I've just kind of been on the emotional journey of it, I've been filming for 50 minutes. Like, this is 50 minutes of footage. I don't know how much is going to be in it, but I've had lots of monologues and lots of epiphanies in this time. Yeah, I'm feeling really relaxed and happy that I did this video, and excited to go back and edit it and to watch the journey of the last 50 minutes within myself. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. You guys are the best, and I will catch you next time. Enjoy April Fools.